What is going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Hump Day Wednesday so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85, and I'm just going to bring you an interesting rumor that came out yesterday surrounding a couple of wide receivers from the Carolina Panthers that the New York Giants inquired about that possibly they might want to bring into the team before the NFL trade deadline on November 1st, as well as an issue that was happening with the New York Giants punter that seems like it's going to be resolved in the coming days and that he should be okay for the game this Sunday against the Ravens, as well as some injury and practice notes going on. Now, first off, I'm going to start out with Jamie Gillen. He's right now stuck in England at the moment because he's having issues with his passport, and that's the reason why he didn't travel back with the New York Giants team after their victory this past Sunday. So he's just trying to get those issues resolved right now in terms of his passport, and that's why he's still right now stuck in England. But sources have said, and according to Art Stapleton of NewJersey.com, it sounds like that Jamie Gillen is going to be able to resolve these issues in time before the New York Giants play against the Baltimore Ravens at MetLifeStadium this coming Sunday. So it most likely looks like that Jamie Gillen will be back and he will be ready to go by Sunday against the Ravens. So that's a positive sign right there. Hopefully he gets it resolved sometime today, if not tomorrow. Gillen can fly back to the United States and get ready for the game against the Ravens this Sunday. So that's a positive sign. It's a crazy situation. We all know if you ever traveled out of the country, passports and everything, it could become a little bit of an issue, but thankfully he's going to be able to get it resolved. He's going to travels back to the United States and he's going to be all good going into this game on Sunday. Now I'm just going to talk about quickly the injury report and some of the things that are happening right now in terms of the New York Giants. There's just broke maybe about a couple of minutes ago about who might be practicing and who might not be practicing, and I'll have the full report on my New York Giants black and blue injury report later today. Brian Daboll said in his press conference today that wide receivers Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney will not be practicing today, as well as cornerback Cordell Flott and safety Tony Jefferson. They will not be practicing today. Tony's right now dealing with a hamstring injury that he has in the opposite leg. Cordell Flott dealing with a calf injury, and Kenny Golladay has a sprained MCL. So these guys will not be practicing today for the New York Giants. And in terms of limited practices, which could be a positive sign, wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson also dealing with a sprained MCL. He will be practicing on a limited basis today. Cornerback Adoree Jackson will also be practicing in a limited basis. So that's a positive sign that Adoree sounds like his injury is not going to keep him out for any type of time, depending on how he looks today. As well as defensive linemen Leonard Williams and Azeez Ojulari. They will also both be practicing on a limited basis. Leonard Williams in with the sprained MCL, Azeez Ojulari with the strained calf. So that's a positive sign, at least, that the New York Giants look to be getting healthier going into this game against the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday. So it'll be curious to see if Wan'Dale Robinson, Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari, and Adoree Jackson will all be able to play in this game. And curious to see what the deal is with Tony Jefferson. There's really not an injury reported right now with him and why he's not going to be practicing today. And also Landon Collins, who was just signed by the team yesterday, was signed to the practice squad. Just probably a matter of time until he eventually gets elevated to the active roster, and he's part of this Wink Martindale defensive system as a safety/linebacker for this New York Giants team going forward. Now I want to talk about the New York Giants. Reports right now going out that they recently have inquired about a couple of wide receivers right now with the Carolina Panthers, whom we all know the Carolina Panthers last week, they fired their head coach Matt Rule and their owner David Tepper. Sounds like that he's just looking to maybe just break down this whole entire team and start from anew and maybe looking to clear some salary from the Carolina Panthers going forward. And a couple of the wide receivers that the New York Giants might be intrigued by is obviously multiple-time 1,000-yard wide receiver, Pro Bowler DJ Moore, the 25-year-old played college in Maryland. He was a former first-round pick, number 24 in 2018. He's had 5 years experience right now in the NFL, and he recently just signed a 3-year, $47.5 million contract extension with the Carolina Panthers. So, I'm sorry, a 3-year, $61 million contract extension with the Carolina Panthers this past offseason. So he's obviously going to be signed at least until 2026, where he's going to be 29 years old, and that's when he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Now, right now, his base salary for this year is only $1,035,000. So obviously, it's not going to be that big of a contract that the New York Giants bring him in for 2022. In terms of his cap hit, it's only $6,110,000 overall, and his yearly cash is only $20,735,000. So that's not the problem. If the Giants want to think about bringing him in for 2022, that's not an issue. 2023 is when his salary is going to jump, when that new contract extension truly jumps in. And his contract is going to jump from $1 million all the way up to about $20 million. It's going to be $19,965,000 contract. That's his base salary going into 2023. So I'm really curious to see if the New York Giants are going to be willing to maybe take a chance on maybe picking up a guy like DJ Moore. So I'm really curious about that, as well as what is it going to cost for a player like DJ Moore? Is Carolina Panthers going to be asking for possibly a second-round pick? I mean, the guy is a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He is also 25 years old. So how much is it going to cost for DJ Moore if the New York Giants are thinking about acquiring him? And also, a line might have to do, well, actually, I'll get to that in a little bit later. But the Giants right now, it's interesting to see what they're going to do if they're actually truly interested in getting a guy like DJ Moore and how much it would cost for a player like DJ Moore. And then also you have to factor in his salary next year, the fact that it's going to jump from a base salary of $1 million all the way up to $19 million in 2023. So the Giants want to take on that type of base salary going into the next season, when yes, they'll have cap space, but they're also going to have guys that they're going to have to re-sign and possibly bring back, including their rookie class that they're going to have to sign in 2023, as well as potentially, free agents that they might want to bring in as well. So you have to think about that. The other wide receiver that the New York Giants have acquired from the Carolina Panthers is Terrace Marshall, the former second-round pick, second year right now in the NFL from LSU. He's right now in his second year overall. He's got a base salary of $660,000. That was in 2021 in his rookie year, and his salary jumps all the way up to $920,435 overall, with his signing bonus being $381,725 overall. His cap hit in 2022 is $1,302,156 overall, with his dead cap being $2,065,606. That would be what the Carolina Panthers would take in terms of a dead cap hit if they end up trading a guy like Terrace Marshall. And in terms of his 2023 cap space, he's going to be 23 years old at that point. His base salary is going to jump at least about another 200,000. It's going to go from 1,180,862 overall, with his signing bonus going to be about the same. His signing bonus is not going to change because he's still on a rookie deal. He's obviously going to be an unrestricted free agent when he's 25 years old in 2025. That's when his rookie contract comes to an end. Terrace Marshall, his cap hit would be in 2023 $1,562,587. Terrace Marshall intrigues me because the guy has size. He's about 6'3". He's about 200 plus pounds. He's a guy that has size. He can go down the field. He's actually that type of receiver that I think could take advantage of the deep ball aspect. He's a jump ball guy. And yes, his production hasn't been there right now, but look at Carolina Panthers' quarterback situation. It's not good. It is not good. So you really have to think about if the New York Giants, and also what is going to cost for a young player like Terrace Marshall, who the Carolina Panthers could still choose to build around going forward. So that's what you have to think about too, is how much would it cost in terms of draft picks for a player like Terrace Marshall? Now, another aspect of this whole thing is this mean that the New York Giants are just dissatisfied from everything they're getting right now in Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay? Both guys right now have been unproductive. Kenny Golladay has pretty much played in four games so far this season with 2 catches for 22 yards on the season. That's not what you're asking for your $72 million wide receiver. And Kadarius Toney has 2 catches for 0 yards right now. And he's only played in pretty much 2 games this NFL season. He's been dealing hamstring injuries the past couple of weeks. And you have to wonder if either one of these guys are going to be placed on IR soon if they can't get back from injury. So you have to wonder if Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are just dissatisfied with right now the lack of production they're getting from this two. And maybe this is the reason why they're inquiring about these 2 receivers from Carolina to just gauge the interest and what it would take possibly to get one of these 2 receivers to help out Daniel Jones going into the season. Because right now the wide receiver position, you give a good credit to Darius Slayton. Slayton is a good player right now. He's not a number 1. He's a complimentary wide receiver right now in that room. And the Giants have to think about that if they need an alpha wide receiver. But at the same time, maybe the Giants are still intrigued to see if they can possibly get Galladay and Toney back in the next couple of weeks. Put them out there and see if these guys can maybe get into the good graces of the coaching staff and the front office. Maybe things could change and the Giants' urgency for a wide receiver won't be as much if Galladay and Toney can get out there and play. As well as Wan'Dale Robinson, who's right now practicing limited. We'll have to see if he can get on the field, what it could do for this New York Giants team going forward. So I'm really intrigued by this. And we have to wonder as we get closer to the trade deadline on November 1st, if Carolina might be so urgent to get rid of some salary on their team that they might just be willing to get rid of some players for the sake of the fact that they're rebuilding right now because of the fact they fired their head coach and because the GM might just want to just play the game of where they want to just try to tank right now, get rid of as much salary as possible, and try to get to one of those top picks in the NFL draft to pick up some of those younger quarterbacks that are going to be coming out in the 2023 NFL draft next year. So that's just some of the news and updates I wanted to give you guys surrounding Jamie Gillen's issue with his passport, as well as the fact the Giants' injuries right now that they're dealing with and who might be practicing, who might not be practicing, as well as the rumors going out there that the New York Giants have had interest and inquired about wide receivers DJ Moore and Terrace Marshall from the Carolina Panthers. And in fact, there might be serious interest from the New York Giants in those 2 players and what it might cost to bring in one of those 2 wide receivers from the Panthers going forward to help out Daniel Jones in this wide receiver core going forward. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter, and also rumors and injury and roster updates. I know it's a lot surrounding the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the rumors out there about the Giants inquiring about DJ Moore and Terrace Marshall. And if you think either one of these guys would be a good fit for this New York Giants offense, as well as how much you think it will cost to acquire either one of these wide receivers from Carolina if in fact the New York Giants have interest and serious interest in either one of these players from the Panthers. So I thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Hump Day Wednesday. Take it easy and let's go New York Football Giants. As always, together blue, everyone.